Hello, my name is Fito, and I do abstract expressionistic work. My work is it's a play of imagery and like dreamlike images. I use a lot of subconscious feelings and beliefs, and I usually start journaling. That's my process. I journal and then I cover, and then I do a lot of subtraction of pigments, and I add and I subtract. So it's a lot of playing with the colors, and I work with being a physician, I work with a lot of psychology of colors. So mainly that's what I try to convey, and there's a lot of symbolism in my work. And lately, since I'm trying to go back into the medical field, I have been combining all my medical knowledge into my paintings. Thank you very much.
I'm Bob Nunn. I work primarily in oil on canvas. Style is, I don't know, some people have called it surrealistic, some people have called it abstract, some people have called it mechanical abstraction. I don't really label the work, I let other people do that. Most of the work I'm working on right now has to do with memories, combining memories with things that I've seen a long time ago, memories of things I've seen just recently, doing a whole series of work based on plant forms, almost botanical-like, but very, very abstract, not any plants that anyone's necessarily ever seen. I'm also doing a second series of looking at the Earth from above the Earth, sometimes from as high as an airplane, or sometimes only as high as a ladder, and sometimes images even from outer space. Combining those, showing the patterns and the colors and the textures and the lines that exist on the surface of the Earth. And those are the two things I'm working on primarily right now.
My name is Henry Dees. I'm also known as Junkie. I'm a silkscreen artist. I silkscreen onto canvas, wood, paper, clothing, anything that doesn't silkscreen me first. My style is somewhere between aggressive and hidden beauty, I guess. I don't know. The inspiration for some of this work is, like the ray gun, for instance, it just looks cool. The inspiration for this piece here, or the black and white pianos over the city of Dallas, that I was going to enter that piece into a show for an organization called La Reunion. And La Reunion, I think back in the late 1800s or early 1800s, were settlers from France, and they wanted to start this perfect society. And one of the things that they brought to Dallas was the first piano, the first beer, and it was just a big artist community. And I don't know what happened with them, but they sort of faded away, and I guess now there's a movement to start that whole thing up again. So that's Pianos Over Dallas. The Blimps Over Dallas, the name of that piece is Liberation. It's taken from the southwest point of view of downtown Dallas over the Jefferson Bridge. And it was just a great shot of downtown Dallas, silkscreened it, and I just saw a picture of a blimp, multiplied it, put it over Dallas, and I don't know why, but now, after looking at it for a while and thinking about it, I guess to me what the picture means to me, the name of it is Liberation, but it doesn't mean that we're going away in these blimps or anything. These blimps are coming to save us from ourselves.
Okay, my name is Kim Owens. These are oil paintings here. I do a lot of digital media and drawing. And I'm always plugging something in, as you can see. Inspiration, urban landscape, architecture, things that we make, ways we adapt our world. And those things say a lot about us.
My name is Dafare. I do kind of a semi-impressionistic, little abstract, but mostly fairly realistic oil paintings. I like fairly large size, and I'm usually inspired by just about photographs. I never know what's going to pop into my brain, and then I want to do it, or do some variation of it or something. So, what else do I?
This piece is really more of a painting, although it is three-dimensional and has a lot of found objects, some antique wood in it. But it's about the 13th station of the cross. I was invited to be in a very small group show. 14 artists, each one selected a particular station of the cross, and it was for Good Friday. The show was just for Good Friday. And this particular station is when Jesus is taken down from the cross and given to his mother, and Mary Magdalene is with her. And I tried very hard to, as much as I could, project the emotion that each of them must have felt. Of course, Jesus was dead, but the mother is blue-gray, and she is so sad and so deeply moved. And then Mary Magdalene, if you'll notice, I tried to make her sad, but yet look ahead, look beyond. So that is what she's doing here. I really like this piece a lot. It says so much in a very simple way, and it combines my most favorite forms of art that I like to work with, and I think it's moved a lot of people, and that's really what I want to have happen when they see my art.
I'm Michael Yuskovich. I paint mainly in oils, and we're in my studio. I'm typically motivated by things that I would like to hang in my own home, and then I try and picture my art in other people's homes and other people's spaces. Most of my art is done by layering oil paints, and my technique is an optical mixing technique. It's where I get my brightest colors, and I'm able to take that technique and use it in a bunch of different styles. So you'll see behind me I've got some of my dragon art, and then the rest of my studio is filled with a lot of my paintings that are examples of the multiple layering.
Por culpa mía que se fue yo no sé por qué empiezo, porque me tiene que quitar la
My name is Steve Tate. I paint under the name of Sheba Art. A lot of people have asked me why I do that. Why not put Steve Tate on my art? A lot of people have feared that over the years that no one would know, who Sheba is, and not connect that name to me as the artist. And the answer to that is that the art has never really been about me. It's been about something else, and I never really knew what that was. And I never wanted my ego to get in the way of my paint, so my art. So I felt that if I used another name to represent myself, that the ego wouldn't get in the way. It's a funny thing when you see a lot of artists sign art. Not that it's a bad thing or a wrong thing. There is no wrong or right, but you'll see the name expressed pretty big on the art. And I've always felt that my art, anyways, I don't want anyone to necessarily look at a signature and take their eyes off the art. It's kind of like a spider web. If you look at a spider web and you see the spider on it, then you gravitate towards the spider, and you don't appreciate the web itself. And that's why I've never signed anything on the front, and also why I don't paint under my name, Steve Tate. My medium is mixed media. I've been working with paints and stains and textures and polyurethanes for about 16 years, and really became almost scientific about it. The way that the temperature, the ambient temperature, the humidity, and the composition of paint all come together. There's titanium dioxides and resins and solids and all kinds of different things in paint, and when you manipulate them, they do different things. And I became a real student of learning how I can manipulate the paint, and also how the temperature, humidity, and different factors create something different. And I really enjoy doing that process, because if you look around in the studio, you'll notice that every single piece in here is different. And I can't reproduce them. No one else can reproduce them. I don't know if that's good or bad. A lot of people would like to have some of the stuff I've done in the past, but it just doesn't work out that way.
My name is Donna Ball, and I paint primarily in acrylic and watercolors and do photography, kind of multimedia. And I've been painting since I was a child, and did commercial work for a while, and now I've started doing fine art again. What I try to find what's unusual that most people wouldn't notice, like leaves or going into detailed areas of a seashell, and then bring those up to blow them up to where they're really big and people can see the detail. Everything inspires me. The colors, the textures, when you walk through life, it's having that eye where you're attracted. Your eye just picks it up, and it's impossible not to do something with it.
My name's Ron Drinkwater. That's R-H-O-N, Drinkwater. I paint in oils. Was trained at the St. Philip's College in San Antonio, University of Texas, shown my work across Texas, parts of California. I just came to the gym building a few months ago. I was really excited, about being involved in the artist community again. And we came in Wednesday night to hang our pieces for the show. And, you kind of claim your space in the big gallery downstairs. And I had a piece that I'd done of a friend of mine who, she was actually my lover, and she had breast cancer, and she survived it. It's come back now, and she's in the hospital now, so she doesn't know all this controversies going on this weekend about her painting. But they decided, what I was told was they did a quick vote and decided that it wasn't family friendly, and removed my painting from the gallery, brought it up to my studio on the 3rd floor. For some reason, nudity is okay on the 3rd floor, I guess, and stuck it by my door. And so I was really upset by that, and it kind of, I think it's not, I think people looked at it and I think they might have just, because there was a painting, drawing right next to it that was, also a female nude by an older lady here who's an art teacher. And that remained up. The whole building was actually covered in nudes by the time everything was hung. And so I think that particular piece, I keep looking at the art and trying to decide, what could it be about that could possibly be offensive, because it's not a, it's not a titty picture at all. It's nothing erotic, the subject matter, anything like that. It's not a painting about breast, it's a painting about breast cancer. And so I can only think that maybe it had something to do with the fact that, I'm gay. And so, that made me feel kind of icky. I think that there was a subtext read into that wasn't there. you know, it's hard to think, you know, hard to imagine what was on people's minds because I've just turned it over several times in my own mind and can't really figure out what the thinking was behind that. But I think it kind of turned it around because a few artists here, you know, when they became aware that that had happened, it looks like we're probably going to change the rules, or at least find out what the rules are, you know. So.
Hello, my name's Milner. I'm one of 23 artists in the Continental Gin building. And I'm being filmed here while I've got guests in the studio, which is really a cool thing. I have been in the gin building for a little over, just slightly over 2 years. And I do a combination of oil painting, watercolor, pen and ink, gouache, no acrylic. I can't stand acrylic, but oh well, you know. Tomatoes. No, I can't stand acrylic. I'm an illustrator, full-time illustrator. I do architectural illustration, all hand done, no computer. I'm a dinosaur. Yeah, I've got a computer over here, but it's not being used, but I'm working on it. I'm scared of it, but I'll get to it anyway. I've brought my studio on board basically as a full brunt, full bore art studio where I do oil paintings. And from life, from photographs, from drawings. And I've been doing illustration full-time for about 20 years, but I've been doing oil painting for only about 10. So you could basically call me kind of sort of still a newbie at this, you know. And it's like it's like when people look at me working on a painting, and I'll be working on it, I'll say, ah yes, work in progress, and so is the painting. Anyway, it's I do a combination of, obviously I have a preference of working from life, working from the subject. You know, you get to know and see the true colors of the person and the surroundings. And it's also more of an eye-hand coordination exercise when you're working from life. But I do have to work from photographs also.